In ISIS, there are two metric styles, narrow metrics and wide metrics, but unlike other IGPs, ISIS doesn't calculate the metric based on things like the bandwidth or the delay. By default, ISIS uses the narrow metric style, where the metric value for the ISIS route is 10, and it keeps on adding 10 on crossing every single link. Now, because the narrow metric in the TLV uses 6 bits, this means it has a metric range from 1 to 63, and the maximum total path value of all hops can be 1023. To be honest, in larger ISIS deployments and with things like traffic engineering, narrow metrics just don't cut it. They're not scalable. Luckily for us, we have the option of wide metrics. It uses a 24-bit field, can have a maximum metric value of 16 million plus, and a total path value of 4 billion and something. However, one thing to take note of is, if there is a device in the path that only supports narrow metrics, all devices will utilize narrow metrics. Therefore, to fully use wide metrics, narrow metrics must be disabled across the entire infrastructure. We're going to have a look at the difference between narrow and wide metrics, and we're going to look back at one of the lab topologies that we used previously, and this is it. All it is there's 5 intermediate systems in a row, R1 to R5, with R1 having a loopback address of all 1/32 and R5 having a loopback address of all 5/32. And I have these devices open, and what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to make all of the interfaces point to point, and I'm going to make it one flat topology, one flat area. So I will use the area between 49.001 on all of them. So I have to do a bit of reconfiguration. So R1 should be fine. R2 should actually be fine, but the rest of them I'm going to have to change. So let's have a look at R3. That will be the first one. There seems to be a bit of delay on the server today. Not sure why that is. Hopefully it isn't too apparent. Show protocols ISIS. This is going to be the first one. So edit protocols ISIS, enter, delete level 1 disable, enter, and disable, set level 2 disable. But that's not all. We also have to jump onto the loopback and change the NSAP address. Top, edit, interface, loopback 0.0, family ISO. And here I'm going to use the replace pattern. So replace pattern 49.0002 with 49.0001. Let's see if that works. Commit check. Okay, that seems straightforward. Let's do a show here. Oh, excellent. Okay, so we should be able to do that across R4 and R5 as well. Let's jump on those. R4. So on this, we have to say edit protocols ISIS, enter, set level 2 disable. Replace pattern 49.0003 with 49.0001. Show compare. Yep, looks good. Let's commit that. And then the last one is R5. We need to do the same thing. No need to do anything on the ISIS because it should already be disabled. So if we edit interface loopback 0.0 family ISO, replace pattern 49.0003 with 49.0001, and we commit this. Now when we do a run show protocols, now run show root for protocol ISIS, and we've got all of the roots there. That's excellent. That kind of means it worked. Good. So what I'm going to do, you see that the metric here is 40 to get to R1's loopback address, 1.1.1.1. If I jump onto R1 and I, under the protocols ISIS, set interface loopback 0.0 level 1 metric as 100, and I commit that, let's see what change we see on this metric here. Now, even though we added 100, we can see that the metric only went up to 103. And the reason why for this is that we're using narrow metrics. And as we saw in the animation, the maximum link cost for a link using narrow metrics is 63, and it was already using 10. So we changed it to 100. It wasn't able to accept the 100. The most it could accept was 63. It added 63 to the link basically, because previously the loopback had a metric of 0 to the loopback, but it was 10 for each of the additional links. So to prove that, if we were to actually change the metric for the GE00 interface, I would expect this to increment by only 53. So it should be 156, because the GE000.0 interface is already using 10. The maximum is 63, but it's already using 10, so the most it could add is 53. And let's just test that theory here. Set interface GE000.0 level 1 metric of 100. Let's commit that. Let's look over here. 156 is my prediction. Didn't even go to 156. Stayed at 103. Oh, okay. So I'm not sure why that is. But basically, if we wanted this metric to be any higher, we need to change it to wide metrics. And this has to be done across all interfaces. So if I jump onto R1 and I say set level 1, wide metrics only, and this is the command I need to run across all of them. So let's commit it here. And then the same here, top edit protocols ISIS, set level 1 wide metrics only, commit. Commit. Alright, now let's have a look. Run show root protocols ISIS. Now we can see that the metric has increased to 140. And if I was actually to go back here, because we now know that the link cost can be up to 16 million, if I was to say for the loopback 0 interface, set interface loopback 0.0 level 1 metric of 19,000, let's commit that, look back over here, and we can see that it has actually added 19,000 to the metric. Alright, sorry for cutting the video a bit short, but the lag is unreal. So let's move on to the next video.